Wait. I wanted to ask. I actually had a
We're
follow-up
recording
question.
now, so whatever.
Okay.
Damn it, that was gold. Whatever. Sorry. Go ahead, Ian. Ask, and then I'm gonna tell Nick to repeat what he just said about me.
Okay.
And I want to preface, Nick. I am not even fronting. You are right. You are 100% right.
Yeah, that's the energy we're entering this episode with. He is the future. He was absolutely right the whole time.
He's in a wrong body.
But I wanted to ask you guys. We were talking about having people snap their fingers at you or clap to
Right,
get your attention.
I know, yeah. So, listener at home, whatever you think, which one's worse? The the snapping, or the single hey clap?
Now, I don't know if y'all are aware of this because we both have had jobs with kids at some point, so maybe if you know that, maybe you know.
Yes, I used to do after school mentoring during college.
When you asked that question, I immediately remembered I had a former employer. I will not say the job, but I had a former employer who would frequently do quiet coyote at a room full of adults, and I've never felt so fucking talked down to in my entire fucking life. Is there ever an appropriate time for an adult to do that to a room full of other adults?
To adults, no. However, teachers are really weird when it comes to, well, I mean, depending on how you view it. What's it called? Conferences, and they do those icebreaker games.
Yeah,
and it's like you're at fucking camp, you know?
Yeah.
That's weird, but it's a very teacher thing.
Yeah. I just think you can't do this to this company was not with children. This job had no children present. It was minimum age 30 and to retirement. It was what are you doing? You can't. This is against the rules of society. You can't. Anyway,
just Ian looking around how are we not telling her to fuck off?
How are we not devolving immediately and tearing this person limb from limb right now like screaming apes? I don't understand. Anyway.
Okay, so Nick, you want to tell the audience? Oh, by the way, Ian, what was your call? What's worse? Just for the audience. So you already told us, but
immediately I would say getting snapped at.
I think so, 100%.
Way worse.
Because they'll do it for a while. And I think that I mentioned before, I think that justifies a hand swat if that's in your face.
No, you're right.
100%. You're right. I think the clap can be funny.
Yes.
If it's with
you
people
can play it off
know.
as a bit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The snap thing I think is really bad, but Anyway, Nick, what did you say?
What did you say?
Yeah, before we realized we need to record that.
Well, on today's subject matters of being in the wrong body, we talked about Chris's fears of being a teacher and how he handles situations.
No, not handling situations. Well, maybe. Well, okay, yeah, that's the smaller bit of it, right?
Yeah.
The bigger thing of finding out, I'm a sociopath who's on a power trip over children.
And this autocorrection is exactly, Chris, what makes you an East Coast mind and a West Coast body.
I think that's so true.
Where you are quicker to correct than listen.
Yeah.
I
still listen. What are you But I'm very much not gentle hands. That's
you are proactive in your listening.
Yeah, I'm a proactive listener. What do you mean the spider went up the water spout? What happened next? It's a dangerous thing to do. What if it rains? Oh, she fell. See, it rained.
Why'd she go up? What was up there?
Nick, you're 100% right.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're 100% right.
And that's why you are internally conflicted. Worried about misusing your influence.
Yeah.
Do the same.
Yeah, all this influence I got going on. God, you fucking misusing that shit.
You gotta wield it wisely, my guy.
I still haven't been tempted by my greatest temptation, which is to be sponsored by Baja Blast, and how I will handle that.
Oh my god, yes.
Not just Mountain Dew. I mean, or what's the bigger company that owns it? Is it Coca-Cola or Pepsi? It's Coca-Cola, right?
Coke, yeah, Pepsi,
Yeah,
Coke, yeah.
yeah. I want to be specific. I'm asking for just a pallet of Baja Blast, Diet Baja Blast.
Oh, forever.
Yeah, yeah, once a year.
That's fair.
Because a pallet's a fucking lot. Like
that's a lot.
And I don't drink
like,
soda as much anymore. Like
that'd
at
be like
all.
2 or 3 years worth.
Yeah. I only use it now for mixed drinks, or if I'm if I'm at a party and it's been a real long fucking day, I'll have like a Coke Zero.
Right.
Or something.
When you say a whole pallet, I do imagine going into your garage in a kind of like Raiders of the Lost Ark,
and just
like
pulling out.
This is with a pallet.
The full standing forklift
crowbar. Yeah. I have to fight off a guardian before like getting to the pallet every time.
It's like glowing light out of the crate.
You can't bring your keys in there; they just get drawn to the center of the crate. Yeah.
I have to be pure of heart every time I open the crate.
Cushion open that crate.
Yeah. That shit from Raiders of the Lost Ark is crazy because it's like, well, I mean that's the point, right? No one can open it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because no one's pure of heart. But like, I love that the Nazis thought.
Us?
Anyway, I'm just analyzing a moment in the movie of why it makes sense and it's good.
So, it makes it makes it good. Like,
yeah. Nick, truer words have never been used to describe me, at least in a minute. I will be ruminating on that, but everything in my gut like tells me you're right. So,
well, I only brought that up because of like all the times I hung out with people from the East Coast.
Oh yeah,
and they talk about that of like you're mean in the moment, but you mean so well.
Yes,
you're mean.
Yes.
Yeah. Where and West Coast is the opposite.
100%. Although I think people downplay like this is gonna sound so like Chris is trying to be a or understand sociology. I think people underplay the class factor because I've also noticed like people who aren't like don't have a ton of money, not necessarily poor, but like are they're living paycheck to paycheck, tend to be like better about like it. They'll be mean in the moment, but they're genuinely good people and like expressive. Whereas like anything like really comfortable, that becomes a problem where everyone's got to be polite to a point that like it allows shitty behavior.
Yes.
But granted, I have not been on the East Coast that much, so I don't know if it goes all the way up.
I do. I do know what you mean. I will say, as someone, and you guys let me know, I do feel like there's a type. Like I've had friends from certain parts of LA where calling you, I won't repeat all the things they might call you, but like an idiot, let's say, or like say something really mean and then couch that in, anyway, we're gonna watch like this soccer match, you should come by later.
They'll buy you a meal or something.
Absolutely. Yes.
And it's not this abuse. Oh my god, excuse me, I just hiccuped like right as I did that. Oh my god, that was so gross. It's not this abusive like I get to call you shit.
Yeah.
No, it's this thing of like that's just how we talk, and it's weird, and it's like
yes.
The it's only because we're comfortable with each other type deal.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
But yeah, I will say, Nick, people who like try to like if we're not acknowledging how fucked up a situation is, that does drive me insane. And Nick, I think, has witnessed that before.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a good. I mean, I still agree. In my gut, like, I think Nick's right with that analysis.
The voice of tomorrow, man. That's what I said.
Speaking of guts, you know what don't have guts? Programs and AI.
No, they don't.
Where
you gonna talk? They don't have crap factories, as we call them.
Crap factories. Everything through a MOBA. Everything through wired and frames.
Yes.
No.
Now, folks at home, you might be asking, what we got out of it, podcast hosts. Why did you not do other movies or things that are out as of right now? Because apparently there's good stuff, such as what's it, Bring Her Back? It's apparently really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
There's another movie that just came out. It's really that I'm forgetting the name of.
Phoenician Scheme? Or are you done with him for now?
I don't know. Wait. Say what was that?
The Phoenician Scheme, the Wes Anderson.
Oh
flick?
yeah, the Phoenician Scheme. That was the one.
Yeah.
No, I'll still watch
Are you
it. I
done
mean,
with Wes Anderson?
we talked about it last time, which is just
Yeah.
like I still enjoy the movies a lot.
Yeah.
They're definitely my flavor. It's just that the the message or what there's becoming very little of what he's actually saying. You know, like it's not different.
Mhm. Yes.
Most other than arts, you can boil a lot of it down to art's really cool, you guys.
Art is real cool, and
it's like, yes, we know
maybe
Wes Anderson.
yeah.
But yeah, and you, dear viewer, astute viewer, hard listening viewer, hard listening, would ask, why didn't you do any of that? The answer is Nick and I already watched Pantheon like a month or two ago, and we thought Ian would really like it, so we told him to do that. Plus, I'm like, me and Nick are crazy busy right now, so we would not have had time to go watch new shit. Which I promise we'll get to those movies because those two are on. I'm gonna try to slot them in sometime this year.
Okay, sweet.
We might do Bring Her Back for Halloween or something. We'll see. As our
That'd be fun.
you know, we do. Let's try to do a new movie.
Yes.
For the year, so that might be it.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
But we're gonna talk about Pantheon.
Yes.
Oh shit, I forgot to bring up. It's based off a book by an author Nick has recommended to me before. I have not read his stuff yet. Nick, who is that author? If you remember, while I pull up my info sheet. And Firefox.
Well,
Ken Liu?
Ken Liu.
So, yeah, well, it's like Liu Cixin, I think is like the pen name.
Right.
Like Liu Cixin is, well, it's like a beginning of a trilogy back in 2008. Ken Liu is the translator. He's the one also like does the forward for like some of them. But so it's more of like a loose, where it's more like the concepts from the book are taken from it. It's not like directly.
Gotcha.
And there are like some scenes across the season that are like direct like homages, but that's kind of it. Like
Okay.
Got it.
It's
okay.
It's got his own life a little bit here. It's a little bit independent, and as far as the general layout or the shape of it.
Yeah, it's based off like a combination of his works, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. Yeah.
Right on.
It's like a trilogy film. Yeah.
Yeah, put together by Craig Silverstein, who is credited as the creator.
Okay.
Who, oh man, the first show that came up is The Old Man, so must be good. But it's Titmouse doing it with executive producers Chris Pronsky, a personal hero of mine, and one day I hope to be as cool as him. And then Antonio Canobio, legend, Shannon Pronsky, who makes Titmouse run, another hero, and just a bunch of people. This is like, and we're not even getting into the voices, which is like a real who's who. There is money here.
Yeah. I truthfully, when I I didn't know really much about it, but the voices started to really stand out, and you just said it was Titmouse. I think they do this other show. It gave me kind of the sense of aesthetically Invincible, the animated series, somewhat, as far as the character design, but the backgrounds were fantastic, phenomenal.
Actually, you know what it reminds me of? The very little I've seen of previews from that Vox Machina show. Is that what's called, Vox Machina?
Vox Machina, yeah. I've only seen the first series of that one, but yeah, I see that. I see it.
Haven't watched it at all because it's not my cup of tea. Subject matter. But I've seen the art stuff because I'm were titmouse marks, and
Yeah.
I'll just take a look at whatever they do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, there's a like I said, there's a star-studded cast. It's Caddy Chang is playing Maddie. Paul
Mm-hmm.
Dano is Caspian.
Yeah.
The other co-lead
Yeah.
or protagonist, Aaron
Mm-hmm.
Eckhart, who plays Carrie.
Mm-hmm.
Rosemary DeWitt. Chris Dimatopoulos, person we've talked about before.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Right?
Comes
Isn't
up.
he's the writer for? Am I crazy?
More.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
Cyber Star Cyber.
Yeah.
you're not thinking of Dino Stamatopoulos, are you?
I am thinking of Demos Dimatopoulos. Maybe.
Wait, is it Demos that did more horror? Or?
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up now. Oh my god, is there two Dinos, Blanketopoulos, and we just fuck it up like every time?
No. This dude is Chris Dimatopoulos.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
D.
opposite. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're right. He's Donald in Invincible.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, yeah. So there is Dino Stamata. Oh
Yeah,
my god, they've switched it. Fuck, dude. No wonder I've been fucking this up.
it's those Canadian last names. You know, Zach
Yeah.
Galifianakis and.
Yeah. Exactly, man.
God
But
damn, dude.
I'm,
All right.
and this was William Hurt's like one of his last role. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
They must have recorded
Yeah.
this like a long time ago.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Daniel Day Kim is in this episode, is in this show too.
He's phenomenal in this.
Yeah.
He's great. He's great.
Yeah. And Daddy's home.
Yeah. And then Gray Lisley or Leal. She's a famous voice actor. She's
Mm-hmm.
been in so many things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's a lot to talk about, and there's no possible way we can do all 2 seasons in
Yeah.
a reasonable time. So
Yeah.
Ian had the great idea, which I think we're going to try out. We're going to try something new today,
Okay.
of breaking it up with characters and the sci-fi idea around them.
Mm-hmm.
Maddie and UI, which I'm wondering if you meant to say AI, because UI is user interface, and I think it's really funny that Maddie would be obsessed with menus in a video game,
No,
and
I
how
was and user interface in the
yeah
I no, I was thinking of
uploaded
up,
consciousness.
uploaded consciousness. It's
Yeah,
UC. That's right. That's right.
yeah.
That's it. That's what I meant. Yeah. I mean,
Oh
we're interested.
yeah. Sorry. Don't they call it uploaded intelligence in the show? Am I crazy?
Yes, that's
That's
why.
probably why
That's
you're
why.
referencing, and I just got my game developer brain on. Like,
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
gotcha. Okay,
So
my bad.
so
My
yeah,
bad.
uploaded intelligence were dropped into a contemporary parallel Earth in California,
Mm-hmm.
and we're following Daniel Day Kim's family, mourning Daniel Day Kim tragically passing away.
Yes.
And we basically pick up with a mysterious. It feels very 13 Reasons Why, and that first episode with the emojis and the.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of thought it was going to be mostly a high school adventure story. I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of interesting, and it
Yeah.
becomes so much more so fast. It's anyway,
Yeah.
but she finds out that her father maybe did die, but had his consciousness scanned by a super laser that burned him on a molecular level until his brain was scanned into a digital copy. Is that about right?
Yeah, more or less. It is. It's almost it's a fucking Xerox machine, right? But it deletes
Right.
the original copy
Yes.
because the brain
Yes.
can't take that. And they show you
Yes.
how it's done, and it's very fucking brutal.
It's
Although
yeah.
the
Yeah.
way that particular shot is done, it's supposed to be in a brutal situation. So
Yes. Yes, exactly. And I mean the show just does I'll give a general comment that we can come back to, but like the show does such a good job at releasing information in a drip that is
100%. Yeah.
is so enthralling. There's at least, every episode tends to have a cliffhanger, but every episode has maybe 2 to 3 kind of dynamic shifts that will happen. It's and I mean, maybe that's the commentary that we'll get to later, but the show just evolves so much as it goes on. It's fascinating to watch. But yeah, Maddie is a young teen who's kind of on the outside. She's feeling very lonely, and then
She's
she
on the outside.
yeah, kind of early on the story is a struggle of, oh, is a uploaded intelligence, is a downloaded brain really a person anymore?
Yeah.
Do we
No,
treat this as a person? You say no?
No.
Okay.
Slippery slope. Look where it leads to. I'm so with the people who were like, "You should delete it at once. We should stop this." Like,
oh, okay. Wow. Oh, I guess okay. You don't want to live in the fucking
that's not
DBZ
you,
world.
Ian. You
Whatever.
don't like. You're okay. You ever play
Yeah.
Soma? I mean, this is the 3-body problem here. Do you ever?
Yeah.
You ever play Soma?
Yeah. I've played that one.
Okay. Do you remember? So you remember the whole premise of that is that there's a copy of you. You just don't know which consciousness you're going to be in.
Yes,
but there's always two.
I do remember this. Yes.
And you're either the one being fucked or you're the one who gets to keep going on, like, and exploring and make it out.
I guess. I mean,
you need to guess. That's the premise of this thing.
No. I submit to you that as the show sets it up, you die. You do die.
Yes,
There's
you die.
no ambiguity about that. You do die.
Yeah.
I just say that, and I'll even give you, it's not the same person. It is a new being, but
zeros and ones.
It possesses all that like human stuff in it. It seems.
No,
at least that's like
it's an anthropomorphized program. I'm so anti-robot. You guys, like,
you really
you
are.
guys don't even know.
You really are, man.
They're not. Go ahead.
I listen.
Why do you want to cheapen human life? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say in a somewhat facetious manner, but not really. I'm on your side, robots. I think they're.
That's right. That whole premise, right?
Yeah.
Like the AI. All right. Well, I want to flip my stance. I'm totally for our AI overlords, and I appreciate every single thing they'll do from here on out. You take that to the bank.
I can't wait till I get turned into like cosmological dust in an infinite void. That sounds dope. You're all wrong. That sounds great.
You get to go on a little USB drive that solar sails through the
Yes. I get to live thousands of eons.
An idea of you that stops being an idea of you because they'll live longer and have way more experiences that you can ever have.
Okay.
Granted, we're talking to writers here, me and you.
Yeah.
And isn't one of the reasons you write the fear of like not having a legacy?
I mean, I would never admit it out loud. No.
I know, right? Yeah, I know. I think about that all the time, dude. Ian, I think me and you are gonna have to have some real hard conversations next time.
Me? I've never even thought about it. No. Like, whatever.
Anyway, back to the UI. Back to Maddie and the UI. It starts off with emoji stuff, but then we're getting into like, is that her dad anymore?
Yes.
And those little crystals, those data crystals.
Yeah.
And like, it is heartbreaking because it is a child, like it's a preteen.
Yeah.
Like, who wants her dad back in any form. And it's some idealized version of him, right? Because it's all good memories.
That's true. They do explicitly say that he's incomplete and he only has so much that they had. That's fair. That's fair. I was going to say, because Rosemary DeWitt's character, who plays the mom, is, and I understand her position too. She has a beautiful moment. What's that?
Oh, no, go ahead. Sorry, I was adding on.
She has a beautiful moment where she breaks up with the new guy, essentially, and there's a part of it where she describes, like, I buried my husband. I mourned him for over 2 years. And it's deeply unfair to ask. And it's like, it's a super messed up position to put somebody in for the, man.
And she does get that she does get that moment though that a lot of people want, which is
Mhm.
the final conversation you can have with the loved one.
Yeah, that's
Right? You
true.
get to know it's your final one.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's over.
I I feel like maybe like talking about we can connect that to kind of the future of downloaded like intelligences, where the story kind of starts to flesh out the boundary between the digital world and the flesh world starts to blur
The
more and more
meat
and
world
more.
versus the digital world, the clean zeros and ones.
Like the idea of, and the show doesn't necessarily totally go into all these ideas, but downloadable bodies for abstracted minds
Yeah.
will exist.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially cloned bodies that you could put your conscious in theoretically could exist, where you
Yeah.
could jumpstart. That's definitely, and we'll get to more cloning in a minute, but and then you get to the furthest end where here's where the show makes, I think, one of its best arguments is, if the simulation theory holds, it doesn't matter. Everything is as real as you put I mean,
Yeah.
and then that's,
it's as
yeah,
real as you want it to be.
everything is as real as you give a shit about it,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah,
100%.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so there's God, this show it tackles so much, but like one of the genius things it does, though there's so many, but like the two big genius moves, I think,
Mhm.
for like the writing, the mechanics of this film, like or film of this series. Well, it's film,
Mhm.
but the series, in terms of writing, is one we talked about how it just kind of like slow drips, but it feels
Yeah,
like it is a slow drip and it kind of feels like that, but I think it's just so well paced that when we get to like the crazier digital fights like in the MMO and stuff,
yeah.
it we already bought in. We don't
Yes,
There's
yes,
no
yes, yes.
weird jump. Like everything it feels buttery smooth the
Yeah,
entire write up.
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. It,
It's a
it,
real and it's that thing they always tell you, or at least a piece of advice I've always heard, which is when you start a story, try to whittle down like as
mm,
much as you don't need in the
yeah,
first thing, and just
yeah,
get it to the emotion, right? Like,
yeah.
and that's what it does. It's paranoia and fear at the beginning.
I mean, yeah, yeah. And I mean, we kind of are jumping into big ideas and character development, but I'll
Mm-hmm.
just throw in there because it's a natural add-on is the Safe Search Company, the
Yeah, real
organization
funny
that
name.
Stephen. It's a very funny name. That that Stephen operates and uses. Uh, I mean, it's such a good sense of paranoia that this show
Yeah,
sustains. It's like a nuke was not the end of season one's
no,
like elevation. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like, yeah, they managed to find great ways to escalate story and raise the stakes and what a great conceit that whole kind of I mean, all the different levels of manipulation that company has. They have a very good old timey conspiracy vibe about the writing on that plot line as well. I just wanted to
yeah.
throw that out. They were great. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
100%. Let's keep talking about. Let's see. Focus on Maddie's character, I guess, and her.
yeah.
Well, the thing is, I feel like this conversation should end on Maddie's character
Okay, we can come
because
back
that's where
to.
the end point is.
How about
So go
Misty
ahead.
then? Maybe like
Is
the
that the Ghost in
artificial.
the Shell?
No.
Katsura,
Makoto Kusanagi.
Makoto Kusanagi. I was about to say I only know it as the joke. Like I can never say Makoto Kusanagi without the accent. Yeah, her.
Yeah, she's great.
She's
She's
cool.
the
All right, yeah, she's just cool.
She's
She's a
cool.
cool. She's a cool
I like.
simulation.
No, I
yeah.
like her old. Again, it's a small little like microcosm of what the show does so well, which is tying like human stories to the sci-fi of it,
Yeah,
right? Which is why I think the show does so well, and it's always things I'm asking for in
yeah,
stories.
yeah.
Um, And actually, the biggest problem, I think, or the one of the hardest things to do in sci-fi, because you can get bogged down in your own creation super easily without
Yeah.
creating like a good heart to the story,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Harlan Ellison's like a master at this. If you never,
Yes.
if you've never read his stuff,
Mhm. Yeah.
But her, just how everything goes for her, how she ends up being UI is like a real tragedy in this.
Yeah.
Well, it's a very, but it's also very viable, like Bible, right? Like she got into, she's a genius at this thing. She's
Hmm.
making it in her career and it's working, but she's neglecting her personal relationships, especially with her boyfriend,
Hmm.
who they really, it really looks like they only have each other.
Hmm.
But she's getting, she's opened up to this bigger world of finance and like tech bro shit.
Hmm.
And she, as we find out later in the story, she was gonna break up with him after that like one night in the cabin
Oh
where
my
she
God.
died.
Yes. Yeah.
But we get the thing of her realizing, yeah, no, I was in the wrong for
Hmm.
most of this relationship, because me spending time with you did make me
Yeah.
realize how much I loved you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would not have had that chance if it wasn't for the UI of it.
That, I mean, between that and the mom's relationships,
Mhm.
and so many of the relationships, they're just
There's so
strong,
much good
nuanced,
fucking
thoughtful.
heart like in this movie,
Yeah.
in this show.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely so. Uh,
Oh yeah, yeah.
but
Sorry, you were talking about, were you gonna talk about the mom scene with the dad?
oh, you mean when they first meet each other, like meet
No, I'm
again,
even talking
I
about
guess.
the conversation. Right? We mentioned the breakup.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, that's a phenomenal scene where we
Just
deeply
felt
like
real.
relate to both of them. You know?
Yeah,
The the I mean, we've all, I'm sure, have had relationships that just don't work. It's not
yeah.
that you did anything wrong, and it feels
Well,
so mature and real for the show to kind of reflect, like, you
no,
know,
there is stuff where I didn't do anything wrong. I like do believe that for
yeah.
for certain things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't believe it in the
Uh
moment, but hey, that's a different podcast.
but I mean, her performance is so good. Rosemary, she
Yeah.
was she was a regular character on the United States of Terra, a fan favorite of mine. So it was so nice to see
Oh,
her just come back and crush it in this role, and an amazing mom character. She gets so many great scenes,
mhm.
where her boy where her ex-husband haunts her slightly before they figure out what's going on with the corruption in their files and
Yeah.
all that. But yeah, can I actually ask you a quick aside question, guys, and get your take
Sure.
on it? Because I think that especially in season one, Pantheon as a title feels more symbolic, and then it very quickly becomes more and
It was
more and
real.
more literalized.
Yeah.
How was that for you guys? Any thoughts on just kind of the framing of it and how they executed it, as far as story, design style, anything you like to talk about in that connection?
Yeah, so I mean, if we're following the title, this is also, like, this is also a story about vying for power, right? Trying to
Hmm.
and get power over, like, literally like almost world domination. Like, control,
Yeah.
we can create viruses, we can create, like, and not just computer viruses, like actual uh like
Super virus.
programmable
Yeah.
bioviruses, which is a
Yeah.
real thing
Yep.
if y'all want to look up that nightmare fuel.
Hmm.
Um, and just nuclear stuff. And yeah, that's what the first season and maybe a half is about, is just these people who upload
Yeah.
themselves to like gain power and control over what's going to be the next step in humanity, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. And
If it can be humanity, which I still say it won't, but whatever. And
right.
then um and then they we get the time skip, and it's been sort of democratized
Yeah.
Very much like the Greeks, but like there is 3 heads of state. I think the mods, right?
Yeah.
And boy,
Yeah.
I want to say the icons they choose for the mods are real fucking perfect. If you've ever been
Yep.
on a forum,
Yep.
one's just a floating giant brain, like giant head with a giant brain.
Yep.
And the other are just super snooty or don't have face. Like, it's great.
Yeah.
Shout out to the one because they're all supposed to be avatars for what people upload and portray themselves as. Shout outs to the freaks who are the balloons with fucking berserk faces and are being held by some giant teddy bear thing.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all chose to be freaks and you're letting your freak flag fly. So that's that's what it's me. No, and then we get it's sort of democratized. There are factions, and they allow people to live in those factions. So it's kind of like, oh god, I always fuck up my whole political terms, but it's not a republic. It really isn't. It is closer to a Greek version of democracy than it is, or maybe a Roman version. Again, don't quote me on this. That word, the further I get away from history, the worse it's been getting for me remembering shit. So,
I mean,
oh,
even
sorry,
just
go ahead.
having like the gods create a new world.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking of the doctor, the doctor uploaded against his will, who becomes basically like a kind of demon, but not in the Western sense. He's kind of like an Eastern demon that's like holder of knowledge, and he ends up being kind of I don't know. I loved that. I loved that stuff. It felt very like we're tying base mythology into something really modern. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, a lot of creations killing their gods type.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's like a weird form of evolution in of itself, right? When you can become greater than what created
the thing that
you.
made
so,
you.
Like, yeah, I mean, we're all better than that fish who crawled upon land.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know. You know what I say that, but like, did you start? Did you change biomes? Did you stop breathing water? I guess is my
All this. I'm telling you, Chris, all the shit we're in is because of that one dude.
It's because that
one
fucking fish.
He started.
Ambitious.
Yeah.
He crawls so Jesus can die.
Yeah.
No, I came back in time to stop you. You don't understand.
And then we even get to like, and then there's the ultimate gods towards the end. And do we go follow them? And do we bring up that? Do we go to that phase of evolution?
Oh, Dip, I totally forgot. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's how the show ends. And then they, and then they're like, no, love, and I'm with them on that.
Yeah,
I'm with I want to get to live the one. I want to do it again because like get to live that not already yet. Yeah.
You could say that's the dandy way.
That is the dandy way. Oh man, Space Dandy was so fun. Space Dandy's so fucking good, you guys.
Ahead of its time.
It really is.
It's so ahead of its time. I could it was my first year of college when that came out, and I couldn't shut up about it to people, and no one fucking watched it when it came out except the really cool people. You guys know who you are.
There's a fun. There's like a side thing with Space Dandy. I think can actually tie into the production itself of Pantheon.
Because it is the same. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say because when Lazarus was coming out making the rounds for advertisements, when they were interviewing Shinjiro Watanabe about if maybe you'll bring back your other stuff like Space Dandy or Carol and Tuesday, and he said, well, actually, Space Dandy had like only one season, but it was brought to the West as like a two-parter, like a part 1 and part 2. And he said like he actually planned for like another season, but but that second season would have mainly just been more like side stories. It wouldn't have been like as
the only thing you can do.
Yeah.
Because the last episode's the ultimate concept of the show. Like it's it's a perfect ending. And it would just be. I mean, granted, that show more than any other Watanabe show, Space Dandy, I'm talking about
Shampoo or
oh yeah, way more than Shampoo, way more than Bebop, way more than Carol Tuesday. could go on a lot longer in the sense of just what the structure of that show is. And he's right.
Mhm.
It's just adventures. And it could be anything because of the the universe part of it. It's actually like a real perfect world building creation kind of thing. It's sort of like people are gonna come at me for this, but I think one of the strongest things Rick and Morty has going for it is the world it created. Because you can do
Where
anything.
you can do anything, you could kill everyone, and
Yeah.
then you have a consistent universe that explains why there's a status quo forever. Basically,
100%.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
episode 2 of Space Dandy ends with everyone dying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you watch everyone die. Like, and that's just episode 2, baby. And dude, that show's so great. We might go and revisit that one day. Cause
we should do a Watanabe time sometime. That'd be fun.
Maybe.
That'd be fun.
I guess it's like you would then also include like the irredeemable, the irresponsible Captain Taylor.
Yeah, irresponsible Captain Tyler. Another great show. Another great.
This is great.
Yeah.
I think like with Pantheon, it also was in a position. I'm not saying like it was also in a position of like it actually was meant to be longer, or like
really.
Well, it's more like they would have enough stuff for another season, but they just at the time like it just didn't make the numbers AMC wanted.
Okay.
Then it becomes that, and then it becomes like they pretty much like had it set. Well, and I guess to jump ahead a bit, but the way the show ends, like Chris mentioned, it's like it's in a position where it can be anything, but it also can also have a small focus channel all the adventures on. But I think I'm with Chris. I think it's so well done. I don't know. I can't imagine anything after that.
Yeah, I think the like I said, the incline, the escalation is buttery smooth. This is masterclass of like it's gonna be a weird comparison, but it is like Gurren Lagann in the sense of the way it escalates. Not in the sense of how crazy Pantheon gets, although Pantheon gets really fucking crazy if you actually think about it. But the way it escalates throughout the show to what it gets to, what it's ultimately getting to, is butter. Like I can't put it any other way. It's almost a perfect gradient.
Yeah.
It really is. It's almost a perfect ride in terms of pacing.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about some other characters before we run out of time.
All right.
Let's talk about Cassian.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's so much. We're just not going to get to everything. So let's make sure we get to what we want to talk about.
We're doing spoilery stuff, right? We can just
100%. Yeah. Okay. We already brought up the ending.
Yeah.
Also,
true.
The premise of this podcast is you watch the thing too before.
That'd be wild.
Yeah.
Please don't listen to us ruin it. Go watch the show. It's very good.
Honestly, here's my thing with it. Honestly, do whatever you want if you want to listen to this there. We are doing this podcast every podcast episode. We are spoiling it to fully talk about the premise. We're not trying to pitch or sell something, right? Like
that's true. We're trying to break
analysis.
It down. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man, come back to me. I lost.
Okay.
It. Oh, here it is.
Okay.
Love the courage of this show. That was the word that came to my mind when I was watching it. I love the courage of the show because the grounded parts of this are so fucking grounded in ways that, truthfully, it's kind of head and shoulders above other things I've watched, film or TV or otherwise
100%.
recently.
Yeah.
Just to say the way, not just you mentioned the super virus, the idea of trying to weaponize that, the fear of false flags comes up several times within the American attitude, and then also just like I was thinking about this the other day because someone was talking to me about Top Gun 2. Oh no, I think it was Pargan talking about Top Gun 2.
Oh, the new one.
Yeah,
the Maverick, Top Gun
Maverick, where
I think I may have seen the same thing you saw. Go ahead.
They never ever refer to the country they're bombing.
No.
In Top Gun.
No, they don't.
They allude to a country and its relationship to America, but they don't ever say what country it is. This one is just like, nah, it's Iran and Mossad. They've got
Yeah.
real issues, and they're going to try and kill each other with this technology.
Yeah,
And
we're gonna use the issues
yeah,
for our own gains.
and and then the fellow who was a Chinese nationalist, not necessarily a devout Maoist, but
No, he
just
was
like
a freedom fighter,
yeah,
but it's more complicated than that, which is very much what that movement was. If
yeah,
anyone wants to go look it
absolutely.
up, I'm always obsessed with like, well, not freedom fighting, but like movements against like established regimes. But yeah, go. Sorry, go.
Yes, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Ian. Go ahead.
No. Just to say, I love that flavor that the show gave.
Yeah.
It felt real and crunchy, and it along with the great character to character writing really sucked me in. I think that's one of the best badges of honor that the show should wear is
Yeah.
that it tackles real world shit, and it doesn't do it in a kind of glib way or in a way that's because
It doesn't
I don't
back
know.
down. Like,
It doesn't back down. All of that to say is there are several shows who will do, they'll hype up an abortion episode, or they'll hype up a current political war based issue, and they'll really end up saying nothing. They'll just kind of say, well, this is happening, it's crazy, man. Like this show, I don't know. All of that to say, big compliments to the show. I loved all of that throughout, where reality was really represented in the sci-fi hypothetical. How would the Chinese government respond? How would da da da? Yeah, I love that. I love that, man.
No, 100%. That's another aspect of the show. I also like really. I'm with you on that. The character writing is top notch. Quite honestly, this is like one of the best written shows I've seen.
Yeah.
In like maybe the past decade, it's up there.
Yeah.
Another one that competes for it is weirdly enough common side effects.
Yep.
Which I also wanted to talk about, but we'll maybe find time. I think that show's fucking amazing. I think both of these shows are amazing.
We might do that some other time. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I guess to sort of tie into like a certain character thing, and like also tie into like kind of what you mentioned of like going to like the more bigger science things, because I think that's probably the best part of this is like all the characters are so tied like so well to the scientific or like any form of conception of like
conceptual.
Conceptual.
Yeah.
No, contraception. That's what I
Yeah,
meant. No, conceptual.
conception.
About to give birth. It birthed through the legs of ideas. No,
conception to the games for the PS Vita, where you create children to fight your God.
We're all tired. The worms are back.
Now the worms are back.
But yeah,
I just want to remind people that game exists. Anyway, go ahead.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah. So the three body problem itself, like, so you brought up Ken Liu, and the thing with like Ken Liu is that while he translated Liu Shishin, like he is also a very famous short story novelist. He's one of those guys. Yeah, crazy story, and like a lot of Pantheon, not only is three body conceptually, but the story itself of the UIs come from Ken Liu's short story, The Carithian Rose. I'm trying to get the exact name because it's been a while. It's from like an anthology series like Orson Scott Card used to do back in 2000s called like Empire Dreams.
Oh, nice.
Cartesian Rose, there it is.
Cartesian Rose.
But that's where the idea of like uploading minds comes from itself. But I think like the three body is more about like the characters and like how the three body itself, that thing can only work is if everyone's within a momentum, but they don't interact with each other directly. So the three body was referring to clones. Like if you clone one or two, like then there's like more and more risk of like each version like interacting with each other, right?
Yeah.
Or colliding with each other. And like three body was actually then used as like the model example of the three body was the sun, moon, and earth, and how like the three bodies are like they're all like spinning within the same thread, but they're all going at their different momentums, and like they're trying to predict each other's trajectory of it, like trying to predict each other's
they're still interacting upon each other.
So that was cool in the show. It's like it's Caspian is is literally like the sun that like everyone is like orbiting around,
Yeah, you're
and then
totally right.
Maddie is Earth, who
Yeah,
literally like directly has, and then
she's the
is
anchor to the
she's the
show.
anchor,
Yeah,
anchor, and then so they rely on each other. And I thought was cool was like and how the moon is like the mom and her parents, like how.
Mm.
So I thought it was kind of cool, like because it's all, and I thought it was kind of cool with like how that also includes like logarithm, because like right, they all revolve around Stephen Holston.
Yeah,
Julius is the anchor, and then no, Renee's the anchor, and then Julius is the moon of it. But like
Yeah.
I thought was so cool was like how they incorporated that, like, and was kind of I thought was kind of cool, like with Renee and like the whole thing with Stephen Holston is like how they really do push just how, man, just how like it's that detachment, it's that terrifying like detachment to the reality of of their actions. Like
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just like it. Yeah, that always got me, and especially watching it and
yeah.
everything to do with that.
What
Everything,
does what they're doing actually mean? Right?
yeah,
How
yeah,
does it
Yeah.
actually affect people? Yeah.
yeah. Oh my
Right.
god, Mister Steve Jobs, but
The fact that he's so close, he is modeled almost exactly like him. The biggest
Yeah.
difference being he has more hair in this
Yeah.
show. Um,
Yeah.
is awesome. It's fucking great. I love
because
that because
Steve,
people always talk him up.
yeah,
Yeah, because he's the poster boy, right, for most of this stuff.
Yeah.
Because Bill Gates used to be, but like even Bill Gates, like people have come around to be like, yeah, fuck. I mean,
Yeah. Fuck
asshole.
that. Yeah.
But he was the original tech bro idol, right?
the tech celebrity. It's
Yeah,
all
tech
the
Yeah.
celebrity.
so
Exactly.
And we
once
all knew he
those
was
two,
fucking evil now.
and they all were like even
They all
ones
are.
after him. But that was it's that, and also that tragic irony with Steve Jobs of like a lot of his cancer could have been treated early on, but he just refused
Yeah.
because he was so
Yeah.
adamant in his
It
healing.
can't kill me.
Yeah, the healing and like the healthy. I got the exact term, but it was
I
like
drink a
eating
lot of water.
He
superfood
drinks a lot of
things, like
water and he eats a lot of carrots. I think it was like I think that was it.
superfoods. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Behind the Bastards has a. I always talk up this show, man. People should go
mhm,
listen to
It's a
Behind
good
the Bastards.
show.
They have a
Yeah.
series on Steve Jobs, and yeah, it was carrots, I believe.
mhm.
Mm. Well,
But
So
I'm
I
sorry,
guess
Nick,
like
to
one.
interrupt. Yeah,
I was saying like so
oh,
one thing I thought was kind of cool, like when they get to Hamburg, Germany, right, and then like uh and that's where like Renee plugs in Holston, and then like that's where you get the whole like that's like right before the satellite. Oh my god, the satellite! But yeah,
mm.
it's like when they upload, and then like then you get sort of the whole thing about like Caspian's like gonna complete right Holstrom's work for him,
mm.
and Holstrom hates that he's gonna
Yeah.
take
Yeah,
credit. So he
Yeah.
sees him as a different person, like he's treating him
yeah,
as someone stealing his work.
yeah.
So he already
Yes.
proved his own theory wrong. Like,
Yeah, his own hypocrisy, right?
yeah, because he didn't take his emotions into account. Because why would he? He's above all of it.
I
Yeah.
absolutely agree with you, man. What when you were just saying that now, I was put in mind of like there's lots of situations, I don't need to name a specific one, where we'll dehumanize another person
Mm-hmm.
and you really don't think about them as a person until they fuck up what you're doing.
Yeah,
You know, if that makes sense?
100%.
Like
Mhm.
um in that movie, I think it's either Life is Beautiful or Schindler's List, where you see inside one of the concentration camps, and
Yeah,
there's a Jew playing a little girl, like a 9-year-old girl
yeah,
playing an instrument for the Gestapo, and you get this really awful scene where she messes up at some point, but
yeah,
that's the only time in which she's acknowledged and is otherwise treated like an appliance. But I think
yeah,
that's kind of how they treat the UI and the clones and the CI in this is, well, I'm real. It's not being able to see the personhood in other people that lets that guy be such an asshole. Yeah.
Well, maybe I'm proving my point. Maybe I'm proving your point right now by saying this. Uh, I feel like you're trying to subtly call me, I guess, or compare me to a Gestapoian when I
Well,
say we
now,
should stop
Well,
these
Chris,
these UIs from
no,
now,
no.
getting
I am the sun. Ian's the moon.
Ian's the moon. I am the anchor.
weird.
I,
You
I
complete
mean,
me,
I am the
Batman.
anchor for which the common man walks upon. I am the footing they are allowed to create and to thrive.
You're welcome, America.
Yeah, you're welcome.
oh my
Welcome.
god. But no, I'm sorry. But that was kind of a connection that I made as far as Holstrom
I
is
can see
not
that. Yeah.
able to actually conceptualize anybody as being a person in the way
No,
that he is. And
not
I mean,
even
they say it
himself,
another way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
as Nick just said. Right, like
Yeah.
because his consciousness, that's me. The cast,
Yeah.
that's me. What the fucking
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's no, it's I thought it was really cool and like
Mhm.
um I guess to kind of move forward in regards to that, like
Mhm.
um so the whole blueprints, like the whole city thing, like
Mhm.
from Chanda,
Yeah.
who
okay.
also by the way has like an insane he's like the probably the darkest part of this story. Like
We
Yeah.
don't have an yeah. I know we there's so many good characters we can talk about every single one of them.
Yeah.
We just do not have enough time. But you're right. Like Chanda is God. That's a great written character as well.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry,
Yes.
Nick. Go on. I just want to say
no,
that
I'm
because,
saying
like,
mm,
sorry. I just want to say that just so people aren't angry because we are
Mm.
not going to be able to get to everyone.
yeah, no, I'm just bringing up
Yeah.
like more of like the direct references from the novels and
Okay.
from like everything
Okay.
Craig was pulling with Pronsky and
Mm-hmm.
so like the whole thing with like the city being based on blueprints
Mhm.
of another person um that is from the book itself of Three Body Problems.
Okay.
um in addition, like you know the first UI is sort of um and how with Lori and how she was like brought on um with logarithms and how
Mm-hmm.
like trying to get the exact wording, but yeah, and how like it's supposed to be about I forgot what it's called. It's like the I think it's like the logarithms like sold it. They sold like some of like the UI to like
Mhm.
Shy and Stern, I think it's called, where
Okay.
they came up with like an even more inventive algorithm to exploit like the market
Oh
of
wow.
like the UIs. And
Mhm.
then that was like the threat. That was like she was gonna it was that right, it's that Cold War thing of like, oh, she's gonna sell the intel. Like
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
so so yeah, so stuff like that was stuff that I feel like that was pulling a lot from the book itself, Three Body Problems, because that author is like very well known to like bring up stuff like that.
Okay.
Um, but he delves into more of like the political encampments because like in the book, it's not really a spoiler for the first 2 pages, but in the book of Three Body Problems, it literally starts with like the Chinese Revolution after
Yeah.
industrialization, and the main character's
Oh.
father getting beaten on the street by police.
Yeah.
Mhm.
By
Um,
the yeah. Okay.
so it's like, and that sort of kicks off like that character's arc and sort of how he ends up. His first job is leaking intel for like that. So whenever I see stuff like that, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's more aligned with Shulin versus Ken Liu is more about like the bigger concepts we see at the end with
Yeah.
the second season.
Okay.
Right on.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. No. No. I mean, glad you brought that up because yeah, I'm not familiar with their writings. I'm probably gonna read stuff
You'll like
now.
them.
Yeah, I
Same.
know I would. I mean, I
Yeah.
will say another aspect of the show that's gonna like it flew over a lot of my head, so I just had to go back to the highest level of maths I remember taking in college because there's so much math in the show, and I'm sure it's
Yes.
right.
I'm sure.
I
Yeah.
believe it's right. That's just I feel that. I'm gonna be able to
They
prove it
they
to you.
they gave Neil deGrasse a cameo. I'm sure he checked all the
Did
math
they
before he
really?
left.
Oh man, that
Yeah.
guy. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I just want to make it clear. I do not like Neil deGrasse Tyson, not because there's that thing of like flat earthers hate Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm not a flat earther. I hate him because he's kind
Oh.
of a fucking prick. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
that's my
Oh,
thing.
Neil deGrasse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
he Well, he's like that peak like science ego.
Yeah.
Like he is.
Wait, that's a
Oh.
different pocket. We can trash talk people on another thing. But anyway, the last person I guess we should really touch upon before we like close out
Like
is
dad or son.
God, dude. I want to talk about the dad a lot. Like I want to talk about
Sorry, sorry.
Caspian.
Yeah.
Caspian, there's so much in that,
Mhm.
but it is the kind of cloning that I think it's one of the few instances I can think of, if not the only one, where I'm like, yeah, we don't have to kill the clone as soon as they arrive because it's a
Not this
child.
one.
Yeah, it's
Let
Dolly the
him
sheep,
go.
right?
Wait a few years.
Yeah, it's for
Wow.
those who don't know, Dolly the sheep was the first ever successful clone, which was through genetic engineering, but then artificial insemination,
Mhm.
uh, which is pretty much how they do this here.
Yeah.
Or no, not well. Actually, don't they grow them in a tube? Am I crazy? Is
Th-
that
No, they grow them in like a clear plastic bag. That's it.
yeah? So Blade
And
Runner. I was
Yeah,
about to say it's
yeah,
Blade
Blade
Runner,
Runner.
yeah.
and all that.
Yes.
Tyrell
Because
Corp,
at
yeah.
that point, oh, good.
I say that's Tyrell Corp, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's Tyrell Corp. Because at that point, it really is nurture takes over or nature. Sorry, no,
Mhm.
nurture takes over.
Mhm.
Whereas you can still have nature. Where yeah, it's gonna change who that person is. I always thought like when they're doing the plan, to me, I'm like, God, it's so short sighted, you guys. You guys could not just didn't account for how different the world's gonna be and how different teenagers act with
Yeah.
technology present, right? Like, which is what causes Caspian Singh. Just that very simple, like, there's more. He has a fucking computer that allows him to connect to the outside world where they cannot control.
Right.
No matter
Yeah.
how are they, and that's what changes like him,
Mhm.
or starts off the dominoes, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
It's it was the only part of the thing. I'm like, God, they're so stupid for that. I don't know, like, but it is kind of like it's that thing of like technology helps. It's going with the technology is adding to the evolution, right? Because it
Yeah.
changes Holstrom for the better. Well, the clone of Holstrom, which is Caspian, for the better.
Yes. Yes.
Um, Yeah, Caspian's whole thing, man, just being the. I was really worried it was just going to be some edgelord teenager, especially in that first like appearance of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank God he's not like an annoying prick. He's actually more open to
Yeah,
conversations and everything.
he's a very relatable character, and
Yeah,
I don't think it's just because they really go out of their way to set up not only how traumatizing but how
yeah,
unnecessary and cruel his upbringing
yeah.
ultimately was. Like, yeah, yeah,
Incredibly unnecessary and cruel.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, him connecting with the outside world and ultimately finding love, which for again we spoilers for the show, but I mean we already discussed that earlier in the episode.
Mhm.
Is what changes things for the better is love.
That's the
Is
secret,
the unknown
guys.
factor.
Love
It's the
was the
secret. It's
secret
the
ingredient
love.
the whole time.
It can be put into a logarithm apparently as
Yep.
we figure out the thing. But it is
Like,
like it's that thing of like what makes us like the thesis being what makes us human, and it's our connections with other people.
yes,
Humans, as much as we're like, oh, we're we're nerds on our computer and everything. Who needs feel well? Like humans are very social creatures, and that's not saying much or anything, but I think they're right in that the real like keystone to evolution is always how we interact with each other,
yeah,
and that's just how
yeah.
nature works. Like that's for any species, but I think love is what like I'm getting a little preachy there, but like love is gonna be is the reason is the biggest motivation for most people, whether they want to admit it or not, is they love something or someone or people, you know.
and I know that a lot of people are kind of in some way brought in to push against this idea, but I do on some level think that like everybody wants acceptance and love from
Yeah,
somebody. That's how you come into the world. You come out that
I
way.
one of the things you learn growing up or just like interacting with people is like people are so desperate for interaction with other people.
Yep.
And granted, a lot of that's because of how we've set up God, I'm
Yes.
gonna try really hard not to get into a rant of how we've set up like society, but what capitalism kind of brings with everything. Anyway, but people are so desperate and wanting for any kind of interaction that they're willing to do awful things just
Yeah.
for attention and or just to interact with someone. We talked about if we go back to the movie Friendship, right?
Yeah.
And just like wanting to interact with someone or some idea of someone, right, will drive people to do crazy things.
Yeah. Very much so.
Very much so.
It drove some men to leave their wives in the sewer.
It's fucking, oh my god, dude, that movie's great. Okay. Any other things we want to talk about? There's so much we didn't touch upon in the show, but we really got to start wrapping up.
I mean, yeah, the show covers way too much for us to totally hit on everything. To Nick, you had mentioned there was enough stuff for another season. One idea that I had that I had hoped might come back was, when Caspian confronts the CEO about him being a clone, and the guy's like, yeah, but you was a one and done, we got it the first time. I was like, that's fucking a lie. There's no way he got it right the first time. We should have a plot line at some or an episode even where there's 9 Caspians around the planet in different places that were like, this one didn't work, or I don't know. But what a great show. Go ahead.
Great show, yeah. So despite all the praises, there's something I would knock.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And Chris knows it.
Go ahead.
It's a very me thing though. Ian, okay, so when they're on the snow,
it just hit me. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nick. I just remembered. I totally just remembered.
So Ian, when they do the time jump, the time skip, right?
Yeah.
And then Caspian is back on the beach in Antarctica.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he asks, "Oh, what year is this? Or how long have I been out?"
Mm-hmm.
And then she says, "Oh, you've been gone for hundreds of years."
Mm-hmm.
So, why do they play that gorilla song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do they play Clint Eastwood?
Why they play Clint Eastwood?
This is a question I asked myself. I'm glad you said it, actually. Why did they play Gorillaz by Clint Eastwood? That's a weird place for that.
Here's my thing, and this has been my whole life for decades of I haven't seen a reasonable usage of a gorilla song in a media except Cloverfield, when it was just a party song of 2000 when they're in the apartment in the beginning.
Wow. Okay, wow. You're right. That's in that movie. What a pull. Good job.
That's the only time I can think of in my life where a gorilla song made sense to me.
Yeah, because it's a party.
It's just a party. It's a 2000 playlist. Yeah. You throw your iPod in there, your Nano, and call it a day.
It was the time.
It was the most popular song. But to have Clint Eastwood play during a big reveal of a time skip.
Yeah.
I'm so with you, because I remember when we were watching that episode, and man, it just sucks you right out of it.
Yep.
What does that mean?
It's so jarring. Why? Why? Is this someone I want to put this fucking gorilla song in?
Finally, someone. Yeah. But it's just it. I know it's just it's stuff like that, and where it's I feel I don't know, maybe it's a music choice thing also. I mean, all movies do that nowadays, especially kids movies. They play 5 seconds.
Yeah. The kids movies are always. It's got to be the licensed music. It's got to get the kids. Yeah, someone can. Fucking what was it? Scoob.
Scoob.
Bombs Over Baghdad is the montage song
for 10 seconds. Yeah.
For 10 seconds, and it's fucking weird. So
it has nothing to do with what you're watching.
I like Scooby-Doo. I had to watch it.
Yeah, same with Take
On Me. It was
not
good.
And Take
Mario.
Take On Me and Mario is egregious. It really is. You know what sucks even more about that, and why I call it egregious? The composer for the Donkey Kong Country games, I'm forgetting his goddamn name
David
now.
Wise.
Sorry, say again.
David Wise.
I believe
David
so.
Wise.
I believe it's David Wise. Made a song for that section.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like a Donkey Kong country song.
It's cool.
That you can go watch online, or that you can go find online and listen. And it's fucking good. I mean, we talked about that movie, right, Nick? We're like, man, when they're just doing renditions of Mario music, the music's
It's
amazing.
Cool. It's really cool, yeah.
And then every time they do a licensed track, it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
It just sucks you out of it. It's awful. That's a good example. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry, yeah, another one I want.
No, I was gonna be like, let me pitch my example real quick. Who saw Madam Web? Was I the only one?
You were the only one.
I was there with you.
Okay, yeah. Nick was there. Yes. I just didn't know if that was one of those nights like where I went by myself.
It's all blur, yeah.
Yeah, they all blur together. They really do.
Yeah.
Madam Web opens up with a song. And where does Ian, where's Spider-Man from? And where by of course association Madam Web from?
I believe last I checked, Spider-Man is from the borough Queens.
Yes, from New York.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The opening song to Madam Web is Los Angeles by the band X. And yeah, maybe you'd be like, okay, well, maybe they don't say that. No. One of the chorus of that song is someone screaming Los Angeles as the chorus for before they say get out.
Huh.
What a weird choice to begin your New York movie as you're watching a New York paramedic barrel down the cities of New York.
Now, guys, was Madam Web directed by a real experimental film director? Possibly was it?
Oh yeah.
Was it an art house guy who was like, I'm gonna freak their bean. I'm gonna put LA music over this New York street scene.
I legitimately don't know who directed Madam Web. I'll try. S.J. Clarkson.
I have no idea. No.
Okay, so like in Pantheon's case, it's just
I know
like,
Nick's trying to get it back.
It's just,
no, I want to talk about Madam Web, Nick. This movie's fucking crazy, and they jump into that ambulance. I had my buddy rewind. We were at his house. We were at his place, and I had him rewind the movie because I said, hey, I need to know if what I just watched on screen actually happened, and I'm not just having a hallucination while I'm surrounding by you guys. And yes, the whoever the fucking villain was, who cares? Jumps up into the ambulance. Yeah, maybe he's supposed to get away. He was trying to get away, but he just misjudged with it. Whatever. But why would you write it like that? Why would you shoot it like that? It looks so fucking whatever, man. That movie's crazy. The director directed Succession. What episode?
Okay.
And 2 episodes of Jessica Jones. There's so much of these shows that she directed that I do not recognize.
Jessica Jones, I know, not Succession.
I mean, I'm familiar with both. Again, these are all single episodes, though. Anyway,
Nick, bring us back home. Bring us back to where we belong.
Let's end this shit.
Okay, so again, the only thing I'll knock out is like anytime they do like music choices that where I think like again like it's that thing like the issue I had with like stuff like progressive FLCL2 is just gonna forever be that thing of me just bringing up for examples of I feel like it's trying to be something it isn't. Like I feel like what every time Gorillaz is used, it's always been used with a misunderstanding of what that first album is. They are making fun of your industry. That is what that first album is. It is complete gibberish. It is literally meant to make fun of like the people that make these songs at the time.
Yeah.
Like
that's the depth of it. Like
in terms of a depth, like, in terms of a genuine thing. So to have it in a scene like Caspian's thing, it's like, okay, I guess maybe for his age, or maybe it's for the people who made this their age. Like, I don't know.
Nick, I bet you it's because the lyric is finally someone let me out of my cage.
That could be it. That could be it.
And isn't that awful? Isn't that? Isn't
You
that?
also, I will say that this is not the worst use of this song. The worst use of this song for me
Oh,
is still Trolls 2 when they used it.
I have not watched Trolls.
Oh God.
Please,
Sorry.
please, anyone
Sounds bad.
listening, if you want my recommendation for this podcast, please look at the scene Trolls 2 for the use of the song Clint Eastwood. It was the only. I would take any Kids Bop cover over that fucking scene. Like
Ooh.
I might
that's where I'm
watch that
at.
while I'm
Like
editing. Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
gonna
you
watch that.
literally took a shit on God just so you can fucking.
Listen, man, I know you're a fan, but like, come on, like, calm
I,
Anyway,
down.
no, okay.
It's gonna,
Nah,
but man, you had that in you. You had
that
that in
lives
you,
in
and
me.
you didn't have a platform to let that out.
I waited 12 years.
Trolls 2 did not come out 12. It didn't come out 12 years ago. No, or
Wait, didn't that album come out closer to like 23
Trolls 2 is
years
5
ago?
years old.
Oh,
Okay, Nick, you had me scared. Yeah. All right, all right. Let's end on let's end Pantheon.
Anyway, good cartoon. I like
good
it.
show.
Great
Yeah.
show. Legitimately, okay. Before we get
It's
into what we
amazing.
got out of it, I do want to say about the show. Western animation is kind of having like a cool little moment right now because there's so much good shit out
Yeah.
there. And I'm not trying to do this being like because I'm talking down anime. No, because I love anime. I just make jokes. But Western animation has always been kind of put down, like over anime, especially in a while. But
Mm-hmm.
there's so much good shit now, and Pantheon I think is legit like one of the best shows I've seen in a while. Next to
Yeah.
another Western animation show being Common Side Effects, which we can also talk about. But every like Pantheon is phenomenal, and there was so much we did not touch upon. We could have talked about just larger sci-fi concepts and really figured out where our edges are, that where we do not overlap. Apparently, Ian.
Yeah.
So, listen, man. We'll talk. We'll talk. We'll talk.
All right.
I know
All
when
right.
we're gonna see each other. We'll talk. And then,
Yeah.
so let's get into the falling. Okay, let's try this again. We're back.
Yeah.
Just had a mini heart attack because the recording stopped for why I do not know. I just got a notification that said stop, and I'll try to figure that out. Luckily,
the UI don't like it. They don't like the takes you've had. They're bad.
Yeah, I know. Ian's trying to warn me here. Maybe that's what's up. Maybe I'm viewing it as antagonistic. Maybe I'm like core. I don't think that's true. I think that's just a conversation. But let's just say, for the sake of this example, I was viewing it as antagonistic, but Ian's been secretly trying to help me with his great method of altruism, I guess. And like it looks like what we missed was just my little spiel on like animation. But like Western animation is having a moment. It's kind of what I'm saying. Like stuff with like common side effects and cartoons that are coming out.
Yeah.
Anyway, and plus the animation is fantastic in this. It's Titmouse. They know when to like they know how to direct scenes and play them out, even and save the action for when it's necessary. I mean, it's Titmouse. It's fucking they're one of the best.
Yeah.
I love them. I've been a fan since I was a child. So let's get into what we got out of it.
Okay.
Luckily, we were about to do that when I noticed the recording, and now I got like Nick. Or wait, no, let's save Nick for last because he has so much to say about this show.
Okay.
Ian, what did you get out of it? What is your take?
Guys, I got out of it a character piece that's phenomenal. Like we said, we didn't touch on everybody. I mean, outside of Maddie and Caspian, there's so many interesting characters who are all motivated in parallel but different ways. And again, I just want to give the story credit for really doing the work to ground this all and make the escalation, as you say, buttery, so smooth from a very similar world to where we are at this moment. And at the end of it, it's it's swords and sorceries, it's fantasy, it's high myth. It's a great journey. It's a great show. Really well acted, like we said.
Yes.
And it's got sci-fi ideas that, at least for me as a creative, kind of stimulated me, and I was like, God, that's a great idea to just pick at. You don't
Yeah.
even need to. This show throws out good ideas and is like, we ain't got
Yeah.
time for that. So I
It's
love that.
very I'm with you. It's very inspiring. I never thought it would be like that good of
No,
sci-fi writer, cuz my thing would be like, well, I'm just going to make it a sort of fantasy so I can do whatever I want.
same. Yeah.
But this is
Yeah.
very inspirational of like, no, if you can combine both, it truly is a magic trick. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. Um, well, Nick, what are you thinking about it? Music issues aside, perhaps.
no.
Well, putting humbling myself in regards to that, I think uh, I'll say like overall what I got great. Um, like kind of Chris mentioned of like
Mhm.
you have pretty much right now like with Pantheon. I mean, we had our own, we've shared plenty on like previous episodes about Black Mirror and like various other more like stuff that can be like hit or miss in science fiction. I think
Yes.
like because or we have like the usual argument about like action movies in space with
Yes.
Yes.
J.J. Abrams and and I think with Pantheon like especially like funny enough it coincidentally being like something I watched like after reading Three Body Problem, the Dark trilogy,
Right.
and even Can Lose uh, short stories. I get more of a feeling, kind of Chris of like, oh, we're back to people making cool things. Like we're back to people making like,
Yeah.
um, especially in Western, like they always. I feel like I do feel like in Western animation, it's more like hills and valleys with that. I feel like there's always just the quick burst and they're very
Yes.
sharp. Like because you had like Spider Verse for film, and then you had like that just changed like
Mm.
how 3D's made forever.
Yeah.
And I think like in this case, I hope it kind of. I know they said it didn't get enough views for another season, but at the very least, I would want what I got of it is like kind of a hope of like an inspiration of like, yeah, I think people are more getting more and more open to weird stories, like weird, intense
Yeah.
ideas,
Yeah.
and especially like with stuff like uh, Succession and plenty of other sci-fi I'm definitely missing out on, but I do
Mhm.
know like are having their own like praises. I think that's maybe it's just a state of things. Just everyone right now just really wants really out there stuff.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
I think that kind of it's weird because like there's so many multiverse stuff, but I think what made Pantheon work so well in regards to that is that they save it for the very end, and it's
Yeah.
from like a very sincere place of just trying to make a deeper connection or accepting that emotion that the human like strive and emotion is really is like the bedrock to everything else. Like
Yeah.
no matter how much like we internalize all these crazy existentials, I yeah. So I think with Pantheon, that's kind of what I got of it. I got of it like a really cool sort of take on that, and like yeah, just like maybe less inspiration, more just a hope of like yeah, I'm sure people are just gonna want to see more of this. So I'm really hoping for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
on, man. Yeah, my takeaway. So I mean, I fully agree with you guys, especially as like, not as a product. So as a work of art, Pantheon, I 100% agree with all y'all what you're saying. So let me try to tackle a more thematic approach to this.
Mm.
And I kind of said it before earlier in the podcast, but yeah, what I got out of this story is really the things that are going to make us human, that are going to propel us forward, is our connections with other humans, whether we want that, like whether we like it or not. And since it is going to be connections, we should find the love in there. We should try to understand each other or like connect with the people we really truly appreciate and love.
Yeah.
As kind of like, yeah, that sounds super cheesy considering all the things he talked about, but it really is that. Like at the end of the day, for all these characters, everything that propels them forward is motivated by their love for each other, whether or not they realize it's love at the time. If there's
Yeah.
like a common thread to say between each character's journey.
Would you guys say that there's like a humanistic thread throughout it of it all comes back to that of we need love each other. That's
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
I think it's that because but I think it is like a little bit more elevated again in the sense that that's gonna be our true point of evolution is
Yeah.
what we do for each other,
Yeah.
or at
Yeah.
least in a positive direction, as we find out with like Holstrom and stuff.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
yeah, it's there's so much more, and I think I could elaborate on that. Or man, like the essayist, the college
Mm.
essayist in me is like, yeah, you can elaborate upon that point more by showing how like Holstrom parallels same technology, same ideas, very wrong direction because it comes from a place of not is it contempt. Contempt is the word, I think.
Contempt and
Yeah.
self-absorption, I
Yeah, and
would say.
self-absorption for
Mhm.
humanity, which again is
Yeah.
supposed to be an indictment on these tech
I,
bros that or
I yeah.
these tech celebrities we that the public holds so high, not
I'll,
realizing they don't have a human side or like if they're not in touch with the human side of them.
yes, they've completely divorced themselves from
Yeah.
real connection with other people. I I want to just quickly say yes and to say that I in some of the work I've done, I've had like psych training,
Okay. Yeah.
and this just came to my mind, and I wanted to say, in a lot of therapist psychological circles, it's a general refrain is kindness is an act of intelligence. The
Yeah.
more put together you are, the more able you are. It is a sign of being able to think of other people, put other people first, consider the group dynamic. There are
Mm.
all signs of somebody who's you know intelligent. Basically, they tend to be related to each other.
Yeah.
And people who are assholes tend to not be as smart, and that
No.
is fairly consistent. So
Yeah.
I think that at the end, Caspian shows himself to have been the more intelligent one,
Yeah.
because he's a nice person. Yeah.
He gave a damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would again argue the what the show posits is that the connections with others is what makes them more intelligent than Holstrom ever could be.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
anyway, let's get into the denouement. Our recommendations. Nick recommends the scene from Trolls where they use. Is it actually Clint Eastwood or is it just a gorilla song?
It's Trolls 1. My bad.
Troll,
That was 2, but it's 1.
Trolls 1.
Where
Gotcha.
in the middle of the film, it's Clint Eastwood, gorillas.
Understood.
Okay.
So that's probably 12 years.
Yeah.
Okay, Ian, what would you recommend?
Maybe I just kind of hit it just right. I actually ended up watching Digital Circus, that
Oh,
YouTube
I gotta watch
series.
that. Yeah,
So, yeah.
Um, I think it's good, and we can talk
it's
about it
good.
some other time.
Okay.
But I'll just say that it thematically has kind of "I have no mouth and I'm a scream"
Oh, it's based on that. I don't know if you knew that.
vibes. It comes
That's
through very quickly.
that's the only
Why
thing
haven't told you then?
I know about the show is that it's based off that story.
And I don't know. I guess like if you enjoy the ideas of talking about uploaded intelligences, i.e., human beings who are
Yeah.
digitizing their brain, and artificial intelligences, NPC, artificial worlds,
Okay.
the internet merging with humanity, the Digital Circus touches upon all of that without having finished yet. I will say it's 5 episodes into. I don't know how long it's going to run, but there's only
Yeah.
5 out now. Pretty good time though. Pretty fun time. Yeah.
Right on. Okay. What would Chris recommend?
What would Chris recommend?
Chris would recommend.
Yeah.
Oh my god, didn't I say it earlier? Yeah, common side effects. If you're looking for another really
Oh
good
yeah.
animation,
Yeah.
more fantasy than I guess, but not too much. It's still incredibly very grounded. Holy shit! It plays off very real fears and the way kind of medical science works, or pharmaceutical like science works. Amazing show. Maybe we'll do an episode about it. I think that show's legitimately great. Also, in terms of pacing, it's so good at just keeping you in for the ride. Like those episodes go like that.
Oh yeah,
but in the best way possible. It's a Mike Judge production. It's phenomenal. That show's phenomenal. Not in terms of subject matter, it's not at all playing with this. It's playing off very much another fear, which is just, hey, the insurance and medical setup we have right now in this capitalistic society is fucked, isn't it?
Especially free Luigi. Sorry, go ahead.
I know, yeah, especially if you've ever had anyone who's been really sick in close proximity, or you yourself have been. My other recommendation would be, and we kind of touched upon him earlier, go read Harlan Ellison stories.
Yeah,
he is a master at doing human stories in hard sci-fi settings.
Yeah.
No one else does it like him. Even really good. He truly was like a one of a kind. It's both, and he always gets this criticism for being too dark and cynical, which I think that's actually kind of crazy, as I've read now a lot of his work. Mm-hmm. But even the dark and cynical places come from this love of humanity. Which, if you read his little essays on his stories, he's always talking about things that happen to him in real life and how much he loves going out about in the world. It comes from a place of just love of life.
There's one of my favorite descriptions for Harlan Ellison was he's like a pissed off optimist.
Yes. Yeah. I can 100% agree with that. You're super right.
I was like, yeah, pretty much.
He's one of those writers I wish I could write or that I'll probably try to aspire to write throughout my entire life to reach that.
He had a gift.
Yeah,
definitely.
Go read any of his works. They're all good. Yes. Well, some are better than others, but they're good. They're gonna be better than most things you read.
Hard Candy is a great short collection to start with.
It's really good.
Fun place to jump in.
Yeah. I just finished reading the Pain God collection, so go read that. If you haven't read I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, it's short. He wrote that in one night. You can knock that out. It's free online, I'm pretty sure. And then if you get a chance to play the equally amazing game, which he did write and narrates, it's way longer, but man, that writing's super fucking
good.
Yeah. That would be my recommendation. Okay, we did it. We talked about Pantheon without touching upon most of the stuff.
There's no way. There's no way to
So
this was so dense. Yeah.
It was crazy. Our next episode is going to be 500 Days of Summer, believe it or not.
Yay!
For the 15th of July. So again, I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna go in. Just let the art be what it is.
Yep.
Because I think it would be really fucking funny if we found out we liked it.
We might. Who knows?
We might. Wouldn't that be hilarious, you guys? Wouldn't that be super fucking funny? Tell your past self, yo, man, you're gonna love 500 Days of Summer. You should watch that. And what's it? Sunshine of a Spotless Mind.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind. Just let those be your personalities. Let those be who you are.
Stop being mad at Michel Gondry. It's not my French. It's not my French. I'm a whimsical boy. Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
And with that, we end. Bye.